can do that anytime.
It's whatever I want.
All right, I've got to cut off, did I cut off the link? Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. Oh, cut off the grid. Let me check this. That's off, okay. Click on it. Oh goodness, I cannot follow the top cross.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I left to go check on my
It
beans.
was so hard.
My beans, I put them in. I knew they'd be ready when I went to check on them.
Oh, you're still streaming?
It's okay. Get cut it.
Sorry. Oh, gosh.
Is for Carolyn. I'm gonna take it in there. So I'm starting it here and I can't. It's okay. Wasn't there anything wrong?
But can you hear me?
It's okay. It's not on the curb. What? Fantastic.
Hey.
They have these mobile cameras.
Kicking you is.
That's all.
Are we live?
We are.
We are live.
Say hey to Carolyn. She ought to be on there.
Hey, Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
Say hey to Carolyn.
I need somebody to get
Hey,
chops too. Are they both done well? Well,
Show the kitchen.
thank you.
Hungry. They do pop.
All right, honey.
Smile.
Say hello.
Throw candy camera. I'll help this one.
I'll tell you, that's a hard job. Now. Don't get nervous.
Say hey.
Give everybody a big old kiss here. Mwah.
Until we got to the last one, I passed that knocked in the middle, her hands like down the opposite thing. And that's why I couldn't get it. I did it so many times as fast as I see it. Anyway, we made it do it. That's all we did. What do you want? I miss y'all. At least I can look over your job. Yeah, I think that people start to feel more comfortable. I'll start asking. Donnie's kind of feeling better. Right. And Marcia said that she was okay with it. Sister said she's okay with it. So I'll kind of follow our group this week and see if they feel okay. I don't want to fight anybody if they don't feel right.
I might be on the back road and come in the back door.
But Johnny may have to come in the back door too. She may go. I think, like we're having our first face-to-face coordinator meeting in March. It's the first one I've had. So I posted everybody and said, okay, let's move your rest because in our building, if we're moving around, we have to wear masks. But if we're in a meeting, we can do whatever everybody feels comfortable with. I said, y'all want to wear masks, you want to space out. So finally decided I'm in the middle because most everybody was like, let's just space out.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, it's like, you just don't, everybody's in a different, maybe based on who they have at home to go home to.
Right.
And you don't want to do anything that's going to make anybody feel like that they're risking their
Good.
Two pretty girls. All right.
Yeah, they were here today, but unfortunately, my wife's grandfather passed away.
Oh, that was the one on the Parish.
No, actually.
Yeah.
They're spending some time with his grandfather.
Not like Karen. Sounds like she's got a young thing.
Really take it off.
Yeah, even this past week, I was fully expecting us to have a smaller number go to the small town, and we did the exact same thing the week before, and half of them were different people. That's okay. That's why I'm not doing a book or something. So, like, you miss them.
And so they run the whole thing through all their
So he's actually working a lot, considering the. I've been watching Anna take my basketball. That season is now it's volleyball. Can I have volleyball? John Davis is big into that stuff.
I don't know her.
He works for Apple now and worked for Ford remotely. He's just right.
Everybody good.
Right, everybody good. So he was spending a month visiting, and now his family's here. So.
I never realized that they were this much life.
They were both together, and they were both together.
Oh, for some songs, dude, that
Apparently, all the jokes and his character, you can tell apart. He has more hair.
I don't care what I do. Somehow he's kind of diplomatic. That's the thing. By the time they hang up, he calms them down. Anxiety, whatever.
Yeah, they couldn't do more. When I'm done.
Mike, I'm gonna get his friend from the dog. I'm all about. Big dog. Keep the energy.
Why raise such kids like this? That is international kids in fighting. Right now, so we're watching. His last image of everybody, he was made so bad. They choked him out. Kids, grown-ups.
Last name was Kate, still playing. I started college. She skipped 4. I
She has the grades to play baseball, you know, softball. She's playing everything.
They're in well, I mean, I can't say I've been, I've tried. She didn't even come to my house to pick up supplies. She doesn't want to be outside.
Well, that's the thing, Ron, if it wasn't what it was, I would want it. But she said, I'm gonna return it, so let's try.
I appreciate that. I would try to
She has a
terrible situation. I'm
She
sorry,
doesn't
my
want
life
to,
is hard.
she doesn't want to rise with this stuff. You know, she's just rebellious about that. With
Teenagers.
Shakes.
I used to have a friend that said, if you could freeze them when they were 15 and thaw them out when they were 25, they just
Oh, my wife says that once the kids reach 13, they're my problem. He is 13, yeah, right, 13 in college, my problem.
That was a rough I'll leave it.
That's Haley out of me right now, I tell you. It breaks my heart. It makes my visit so unpleasant. I say, okay, she has to do.
marriage is just a different.
Just do what she has
He'll do well, I'm ready.
So good, I don't know what's good. I'm wanting to buy, I just wanted to have the referee.
It's as pretty as our list.
So I realize that and not everybody's done eating, so but please continue to do so. Okay? Take time, enjoy your meal. It is quite excellent. But we are going to go ahead and get started with our business sessions. Let's start off with a prayer. The Lord be with you.
Also with you.
This is from the Book of Common Prayer in the back, for prayer for the parish. Almighty and ever-living God, ruler of all things in heaven and earth, hear our prayers for this parish family. Strengthen the faithful, arouse the careless, and restore the penitent. Grant us all things necessary for our common life, and bring us all to be of one heart and mind within your holy church. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. We just to get us started, I want to say thank you to everybody who provided food, who came early and got us set up, and who was cleaning up afterward. This was so good, so excellent food. So thank you so much for everybody who was involved in putting this all together. I hope everybody has an agenda here. This won't be a long business session, but a couple of things up first. I've been informed by our local chancellor, Devo, that I've already screwed up this first one. The amendment of the vestry elections. I was supposed to apparently have sent this out about a week in advance, and I did not do so. So please no one send me to bylaw jail. What we need to do, so it is typical when a church is in transition and the search process for the bishop to freeze the vestry to provide steady leadership throughout that time. So that had happened. So the vestry that was in place is still the vestry that was in place when the last rector left and so we have been given permission to unfreeze the vestry. But what happens in these situations is it sort of messes up the transition time between vestries. Because what we typically do, and in our bylaws, someone is elected to the vestry for a 3-year term. And so there are 9 members of the vestry, so we do them in sets of 3. So one group rolls off at the parish meeting, we elect 3 more to take their place, and so on and so forth. But when a vestry freezes, people's years end up getting messed up. So to do that, to sort of fix that and right that ship, what we'll do is, I'll need a motion and a second and a vote here, but what we're going to do is we're going to make a one-time amendment to the bylaws to add to the second and third group of the vestry an extra year. And they've agreed to this. This is not, I'm not surprising them with this, but they've agreed to this. And so what it'll be is that, though, because we're supposed to have two groups technically to roll off right now, and instead of messing up the rotation and having an entire new vestry all at once, the group who was supposed to roll off first will be doing so. So those three members will be rolling off. The group that was supposed to roll off this year is going to stay on for an extra year. The group after that will stay on for an extra year, meaning 2 years. And then we'll elect 3 new members today to start the rotation again for the 3 years. So it'll be a little extra time for those serving, and then we'll be back on track. So do I have a motion for this amendment?
So moved.
So moved, thank you. Second? Seconded, thank you. Any discussion, any questions about how this works? Okay, all in favor of this one-time amendment to the bylaws, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and at this point, let's do our elections first. So we do need to elect a new group to the vestry. And so we have 3 members rolling off, and then we have 3 who are standing for election. And that's Brett Brazier, Devo Lancaster, and Kathy Beck. For those of you who are thinking to yourself, isn't Kathy already on the vestry? You'd be right, she is. But since she was filling in an unexpired term by appointment by the vestry, she is eligible to run for a full term. So she has been on this past year, and if so elected, will serve a full 3 years as normal. There can be nominations from the floor. So if there anybody want to nominate themselves or someone else, now is the time. All right, so nominations will be closed. Then this is just, we don't have to do these one at a time. This is just all in favor of electing these 3 individuals for a 3-year term to the vestry, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, at this time, I would like to applaud and thank those rolling off the vestry. I believe that is Dudley, who else? Donna, and then Kathy would have been in that class, but she has just been elected. So thank you so much to Donna and Dudley. Yeah, she's still staying in the vestry, but yeah. At this point, I would like to invite up our treasurer for our report.
Good morning, everybody. I went back in my records looking to see how many years I've done this. And what I discovered is this will be my 7th year to stand up here in front of y'all and report to you how our parish is doing financially. Thank you. But the point is that I hate standing up here. I don't like making speeches, especially in front of a group. But for the first time in these 7 years, I'm actually kind of excited to be up here because I have good news. Good news. I won't be moaning, groaning, and complaining this time. This is the first time in 7 years that I'm happy to report that our parish is financially on the upswing. The average amount that we withdraw from our investment accounts for the last 10 years for non-operating expenses has been about $46,000 a year. So if we're taking $20,000 or $30,000 out of these investments for the operating budget, and we're paying for those non-operating expenses, that's when we start running into trouble. That's where we risk spending down our capital. That's where we start down the slippery slope. So let's look at 2021 and what
2021, we had a dramatic surplus of $112,000, which, of course, that was because we did not have a priest. But even so, I was grateful for the little reprieve there, because now we have this surplus that we can set aside for future operating needs, and that'll be a cushion for when or if we hit hard times again. It also allows us to leave our investment funds alone, not hit them so hard. For 2021, we did withdraw $13,000 from Farnham and about $545 from the Carruthers. But that is an acceptable amount to withdraw. Actually, that's a very small amount to withdraw compared to our usual amounts. And you'll find an explanation of those expenses in your handout today. So to wrap up, any year that we don't have to depend on our investments to fund the operating budget is a great year. So 2021 was a great year. So now let's look forward to 2022. If all goes well, 2022 will end up in the black also. And that's due basically to two factors. We've managed to lower our very expensive health insurance costs, and thanks to Donnie's stewardship efforts, our average pledge has gone from $4,926 to $5,107. That's about $180 per pledge that was increased. And our pledge units increased from 40 to 41. Now that may not sound like a lot, but it really is. We're grateful for every extra pledge unit we can get. So we've raised our income a little bit. We've kept our previous budget cuts in place, and we've trimmed a few more dollars off. And you can see the result of that at the bottom of your, I think it's the budget sheet. If all goes well according to plan, we project a surplus of about $9,500. Now, I know that for some of you, this is as much as you want to hear, so I'm not going to go over the budget line by line, item by item. Y'all can look it over when you get home and read any of these reports you want to read, and if you have any questions, or if you need any more detail, you can give me a call, text, email, and I'll be happy to go over anything else with you. So, good work.
Thank you. Always nice when that's good news. At this point, I'd like to invite up our outgoing senior warden. I'm sure she's excited to hear those words. The outgoing senior warden, Ann Taylor.
First, I would like to thank our vestry for pressing forward and helping keep All Saints on track during 2021. Dudley, Donna, Robert, Meredith, Maggie, Kathy, Ben, and Rusty. I appreciate all of you so much, and also Olivia, our treasurer and clerk, who kept us on the straight and narrow financially. Dudley and Donna stayed a bit longer than they had anticipated due to the vestry being frozen, and have been real troopers. A great team working together amicably and decisively for the good of all saints. Thank you. Even without a rector at our helm, we accomplished a number of things in 2021. The rectory got new floors, touch-ups, and minor repairs. The sale of Little Saints building was finalized. We contracted with US Next to build a new website for All Saints to make us more visible, still a work in progress. Olivia created a finance committee to liaise between treasurer and congregation. Near and dear to my heart, we created Send the Kid to Camp, which awards scholarships to each and every child of All Saints wishing to go to Camp Bratton Green. This past summer, we sent 3 of our young people to our beautiful camp. We hope to grow from here. Our old playground area was converted to a lovely courtyard, now ready for outdoor activities. Thanks to Gerald Jones, Bruce Moore, and Bill Hartanovich for their hard work in the conversion, and to Gerald for the donation of sod. In July, the vestry created a property oversight committee composed of the junior warden, Gerald, Bruce, and Bill. The purpose of this committee is to make educated decisions regarding any repairs or maintenance needed for the sanctuary, parish hall, rectory, and all grounds. Several cleanup days were organized for the new courtyard and the rectory. Thanks to all who dug, raked, clipped, and snipped, hauled off, and burned. The vestry extends a heartfelt thanks to Rosemary Lancaster for her ongoing care of the flower beds, and to Betty Caldwell for the care of the columbarium area. An addendum was made to the columbarium guidelines to clarify how niches are handled in the case of certain circumstances, and to protect all saints financially. The vestry contracted with Vince Mescalco and Safe Security for Sunday and special services. Funds, which had been gathered for travel to Haiti, a canceled trip, and held for several years, were donated to the Diocese Relief Fund for aid relief here in our state, Mississippi. After a burst pipe flooded the office, library, and foyer, we took the opportunity to replace the damaged floors with indestructible ceramic tile, and to freshly paint on walls and ceilings. ServPro gave us excellent service on repairs. After a year of diligent work and jumping through required hoops, our search committee, led by Paula Vaughn, offered a call to Abram Jones to be our rector. Thankfully, he accepted. Debbie retired and Beth was hired, all while working from our makeshift office area here in the parish hall while repairs were being made to the office. And at the end of the year, our activities picked up. Decorate the Christmas tree celebration, caroling and hot chocolate. Our Christmas Eve service where we announced Abram's call and the introduction of his beautiful family. Wow. We may have been dealing with COVID off and on during 2021, but All Saints forged ahead and ended up with a pretty good year after all. I have enjoyed my tenure as senior warden. I have learned so very much about our church operations and our church family. Thank you for allowing me to be of service to all of you, all the saints.
I want to point out that during a vacancy in a church is a very difficult time for a parish under normal circumstances, let alone during a global pandemic. But All Saints stayed not only financially strong, but ministry strong and community strong, and that is mainly thanks to the work of your vestry and mainly thanks to the leadership of Ann. So please join me in thanking.
Don't be, because I'll tell you what, I do not regret or resent one minute that I spent as your senior warden and in doing all the things that we did here at All Saints. I learned, I grew, and I really did enjoy my position. So the next senior warden, don't be scared. It's all good. Thank you so much.
I know she'll be rolling off as senior warden at this next vestry meeting. She'll stay on the vestry for one more year, and I've already got plans for putting her back to work. As I'll explain as we get into my report here. I'd like to invite Gerald Jones up to give a report on the building and grounds over the past year.
Doug asked me to come say something, make a report on the property, and he's out of town today, and so I said I'd be glad to do so. But I think that, nobody wants to hear how many light bulbs were replaced, or how many dreams were installed. What I'd like to do is take this opportunity to do what was just done, and to thank Ann, because Ann, first senior warden I've ever known that we've had a live-in senior warden. She's been here like all the time. set up an office, and without Ann, we couldn't have done this last year and a half. It's been an incredible time. Ann's report was so good, I'm not gonna try to repeat anything she said. What I would like to say, however, is what we need to do next year. And so what we've got is an upstairs, we've still got Christmas presents that need to be inventoried and put away until next year. We've got Christmas decorations upstairs that need to be sorted out and some thrown away and all put in a place where they can be found next Christmas. We've got the end of this little triangular area out here that we were never able to get to this past year. It's been growing up for 30 years, 40 years. It's never been cleaned out. That's on the docket. The beds out there where we raise the flowers for the altar need some help, guys, and so we need some volunteers out there. I want to thank Rosemary and Devo so much for the uplighting, you know, that improved the appearance of the church, and as far as I can tell, it's done a good job. But that's all I wanted to say, to thank those people that have worked so much around Bruce Moore, helping out there on the playground area out there. He donated the gravel, and then we had to redo the fence, but that was okay. That's all I want to say.
Over the past 3 or 4 years of being a curate at a church and then an associate rector at St. James, I have helped put together several parish meetings like this, you know, come up with the agenda, organize it all, and as I was doing this past week, and so this next one, you know, I put priest report, rector's report on there, and then, you know, went about my business, and then it struck me this morning that I was like, oh wait, that's me now, so I should probably figure out something to say. And it's also a unique position where at the annual parish meeting, I'm to give a rector's report for the past 6 weeks, right? But it's been a wonderful 6 weeks. First, I want to say thank you so much to all of y'all's hospitality. You have not only made me feel welcome, but my family welcome when they are here, and so thank you so much for that. It has been truly a blessing to be up here with you. My unofficial theme for the past 6 weeks and moving forward with my beginnings as your rector is connection and community. With connection, breaking into a couple of pieces, just as with any new call, the first order of business is to get to know the people. You know, it's not my job, and it would be me doing my job poorly to come in here and immediately start making a million changes, because I need to get to know you as individuals first. I need to know the parish of All Saints, and I need to know the community of Grenada first. So I've spent a lot of time this past 6 weeks on the phone and with lunches and dinners and such, getting to know you, and that will continue moving forward. And I've greatly enjoyed those people I've been able to connect with, and I look forward to connecting with you all. That being said, don't wait for me to call. You know, if you're nearby, or if you realize you're free for a day, give me a call and say, hey, you want to meet up for lunch? If I am free, I would love to do so. I do want to point out right now, for some reason, and I've never been able to figure out why, I have a Hattiesburg phone number. I've never lived in Hattiesburg. Don't even really know anybody from there. But when my phone when I call your phone, it says Hattiesburg is the number. So I am not trying to sell you an extended car warranty. I'm trying to touch base. So 769-223-2267. If you see that vaguely that number pop up, that's me. If you're going to avoid me for other reasons, not because of that. But that just, I've realized I've run into that a lot, where I leave a voicemail or send a text, and they're like, oh, I didn't answer because I didn't know why somebody from Hattiesburg was calling me. That's me. And then getting to know the town of Grenada as well. One of the things that was a discussion at this last vestry meeting, and was put in my decision, and we're moving forward with, is we're going to be rejoining the Chamber of Commerce. And that's solely for the connection that brings from All Saints to the community. All of our activities will get advertised in the paper. We'll be more in the know what's going on in town, so we can be a part of that and react and coordinate. So community continues to be a large part of what we do here, and will continue to be so. Or connection. And in community, number of things that we have been doing already that to be excited about. The first thing being I'm calling it Take Back Wednesdays, in which, prior to the pandemic, and certainly, I remember growing up, Wednesday nights being a time at the church, right? And then as the years go on, things get more complicated. Sports events happen Wednesday nights, school events and things like that, and it gets muddled. But of course, during the pandemic, having to almost shut down completely. But we're going to be taking back Wednesday nights. Starting this next week, really, and so you can look forward to every Wednesday night, basically, there being something going on here at the church that you are welcome, or something at All Saints that you are welcome to. So this coming one being, we have Mission Wednesday, and then the week after that, we'll start Lent. We'll have our Ash Wednesday services that Wednesday night. And then for the 5 weeks of Lent, we'll be doing a Lenten soup and study here in the Parish Hall every Wednesday night. So please come and enjoy a nice soup. We're going to be doing a study on biblical hospitality and how we are called through the Bible and shown in the Bible, welcoming our neighbor and loving our neighbor as ourselves. And then post that, as we get into Easter, we're going to be starting a rotation of Wednesday nights, meaning the first Wednesday of every month will be the same style program, second, third, fourth, things like that. So for right now, we're still working on that first and second Wednesday, but the third Wednesday of every month will continue to be the men's group and the women's group for the most part. And so those may not be here in this building, but they will still be All Saints strong, and we will be at various houses and restaurants, and so you're always invited to those groups. And then, as I mentioned in the announcements today, fourth Wednesday being Mission Wednesday, where various mission that, if you look over on the wall here, you'll see these laminated sheets in red, and those are some of the ongoing ministries here in the church. And so each Wednesday will be dedicated to one of those. We will have a speaker or a group here sharing what that ministry and mission does and how you can be a part of it. And we'll also be hearing about other groups in Grenada doing things that, who knows, we may feel a calling as a parish to join in on that ministry and take part in it. Another thing that's recently started and ongoing is Thursday Bible study. We're calling it Round Pegs at Square Market. And it's a group Thursday at 11:30. We meet at Square Market there on the square, and it's, come on your lunch break. If you have to be a little late, that's okay. But we've been gathering together and having coffee and lunch, and it's lectionary based, meaning we'll be taking the readings from the upcoming Sunday and studying them. And as I shared these past 2 weeks, it's like we don't get the chance to dig deep into the lectionary as much as we could, unless you want me preaching for 30 minutes. We just don't get to cover all of the readings, and so it's a chance to dig deep on those and understand what you're hearing that coming Sunday. And then finally, I mentioned I'm putting Ann back to work the minute she steps down as senior warden. Something that I think is incredibly important, especially if we want to continue to have events and even different new events, is there's a group dedicated to making that happen. So we are starting a Parish Life Committee, and that group is going to be charged with the creation and organization and recruiting for any and all events that we will be doing at the church here that we ourselves are putting on. And be they Wednesday night programming every week or a once a year big festival or dinner that we want to put on. So that group has been assembled, but as I've been very clear to them, they are not the ones who are going to be doing all of the work. Their job is the sort of the brainchild and the planning, and then the recruiting and asking those other individuals either here or around town to help. So I hope that when that group eventually does reach out to you, that the Holy Spirit will move you to say yes, and that you'll be a part of all the amazing things that we are going to be having going on here, both weekly and big picture yearly at the church. And then just a couple of things to look forward to come. As Gerald mentioned, the floor above us has remained dark for a little while. And so in two major ways, we'll be turning those lights back on. This past week, the vestry voted to approve funds for a weekly nursery worker. And this week, I'll actually be interviewing an individual who's expressed interest in that job, so that when we do have young kids come, we have that available, so that they have a place to be and a place to enjoy, and that their families can come in and enjoy worship. And children are always welcome in our worship service. If you were here this past Sunday, you saw my little one crawling all over the place, and that is always welcome and a joyful noise in our parish. But for those who wish it, we will be able to offering that nursery again here very soon, which I'm very excited about. And then Sunday school. Sunday school, it will be a thing that will be coming back here very soon, and just something to look forward to. Is just turning those lights back on and expanding our parish life to upstairs and use those facilities we already have. And as I mentioned here in my letter on the front, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is just us getting started. This is just the Holy Spirit getting back up to speed, both after the absence of a rector here and coming hopefully out of this pandemic finally. So I just invite you all to anything and everything that we have to offer, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it, and so excited to be here, and just so grateful for the call, and so glad to be able to accept. So thank you. Speaking of our missions, there are two in particular that this parish supports that are large and ongoing, that even though they have a letter in here, I've invited them to speak just ever so briefly about the numbers over this past year. So we're going to start with our food pantry, and May.
Okay, I'm gonna do it from here because I can't walk. Well, it's really self-explanatory. We gave out about 853 bags of food, and that's roughly about $10 a bag. So we're talking about $8,500. And the vestry gives us $100 a month, and the other money we get just through donations and memorials. So if anybody dies and y'all want to give a memorial, please consider giving it to the food pantry. And we also started something new this year. We have a thing called Are You Hungry? And we have some little baskets already made out. I make some little bags made out in the foyer in there for Beth and for Abram to give out to people that come that are homeless and are just hungry. And we have like Vienna sausage and crackers and what else? Peanut butter, things that they don't have to cook. Yeah. So anyway, please consider giving to the food pantry. We have a good time. If y'all want to come join us, we're here from 9 to 11 on Thursday morning, and we have fun, don't we, Amy?
We do.
Thanks. And I'd like to invite Mary Duncan, if you would give us a sort of overview of how the
I don't think these people want me to talk.
How about a brief overview?
I'm gonna do one thing that's said tonight because I see Candy sitting here. I hope she doesn't mind if I use her name. But we were registering people here at the church, and they were picking up we registered them outside, and we included Saturday. But then fast forward to the day of pickup, the place was full of bags of toys, and I was sitting here, and this girl comes in, and I said, "Oh, did you come to pick up your toys?" Because I recognized her and from the registration. And she started crying, and she said our house had burned down. Well, Candy was right there nearby, and she was so kind to her, and we found out the situation, and she had I don't know how many children. And this girl right here, Candy, you're blessed. She jumped in the car and went home and loaded it down with clothes for the mother and the family and the children. And that's what St. Nicholas is all about. It's not only giving toys out, but it's witnessing and helping lots of other people. And listen, and then when you go home, you think, Lord, please don't strike me dead, because I've been like complaining about my problems. Nobody in this room has problems like we hear. I know our problems, like Dr. Town said one time, but your problems are your problems. So that makes them big problems. But we serve 500 people, and we're blessed and blessed and blessed having this community to help us. Not just the church, the whole community. It's a community-wide program, it really is. Thank you all so much.
I will say, I did get to actually see this ministry a little bit in action. One night prior to Christmas, I was smuggled in by the vestry for a dinner to meet everybody for their Christmas celebration, and they brought me into the parish hall, and I mean, I could barely get in here from the stacks and stacks and stacks of toys in here, and I was just blown away by the amount that was going to be going out to families. So it is truly incredible.
How many thousands of dollars have been done in 20?
We usually spend around 21 to 22,000. And like Shirley said, it started out with $100 a year. But a lot of that comes from the church, but a lot of it comes from the community too. And sometimes we have to call somebody, give them a little nudge, but most of them, they're so sweet. They bite their tongue and smile. Yes, those checks are nice, aren't they? I can't ask Mike to help because he collects for the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, those are just two highlights of the things that are already going on. I refer you to this packet here that has updates and letters and numbers from all our ministries.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention the person really responsible for all the toys. I have nothing to do with that. Is Tracy sitting over there, and Ben, and the children help too. And Benny grew up doing St. Nicholas and helping. I mean, that whole family. Ben never sees his family doing all the St. Nicholas. And I don't know how much money his gas bill is.
This final one, I learned a long time ago that it's better to just put other business at the end to cover yourself in case you've forgotten anything. So when somebody's like, well, you didn't say this, we're like, oh no, it's under other business. Have I forgotten anything? Other business Draw.
I would like to express appreciation to somebody that has donated her time and her talent, is not getting paid, and is just doing a fantastic job, and that's Kathy Beck.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, Abram.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Paul Vaughn.
Exactly.
He's also bought the equipment as well as doing all that stuff. Thank you, Paul.
It's my understanding that there was going to be like a tech group, a tech guild, and such to rotate around. And so far, that has just been Paula.
That's a committee of one.
Yeah, right. So president, vice president, and secretary of the tech guild here. Incredibly, I think we've learned over the past year or 2 years the importance of being able to reach people virtually who can't be here, and it made I think we're coming to realize it's something that we really should have been done as the church as a whole for a long time. I think there was hesitation that there would be less connection doing this, but the necessity of the pandemic has moved everybody in that direction, and I don't think we'll ever go back. I mean, there's just too many people out there who want to join us on Sundays or for meetings like this and such, and are unable to do so for one reason or another, and then it's the work of people like Paula who allow that to happen, and so it's a vital and unsung ministry of the church. Anything else? All right, at this time I'm going to temporarily adjourn our annual meeting and invite my neighbors out to give a report on the annual meeting of All Saints House.
Don gets credit for all this, because he started it about 100 years ago. Been thriving ever since, but you know, the thing before we start, and I was the meeting, you know, Abram, you'll learn this church, it's not a person in here that hadn't volunteered for something. And that's the great thing about our parish, you know, it's, a lot of people get recognized, but everybody in here has done something. And if you look in the community, they know who All Saints is, because of the outreach that we have. For the size of our parish, I think we do twice as much as any church in the town. So I just want to thank everybody, it's wonderful. So I'm going to open the meeting. This is the annual meeting of All Saints House Episcopal Housing Development Corporation. Basically, all I'm going to do is just kind of bring everybody up to date on where we are at All Saints. We're actually full right now, and since the pandemic, we hadn't done a whole lot of different things, but we've got programs back started. The bingo is starting, I think, with you, Mary Donovan. Of course, Lorraine, she does some bingo on her own over there. Donnie does, you're gonna start back this month or next month with prayer meeting, and, which is great, and they've actually, I don't know if y'all have ever known this, but they have a birthday lunch every month for the residents that have birthdays in that month, so they're starting that back. And they've got a young guy, I don't know this guy, his name is Grayson Mara. Some of y'all may know him, he's a pianist. And he's coming over there every week to play the piano for them. So that livens them up, because, you know, just think about almost being in captivity for 2 years. Because they can't get out and go, they can't visit a whole lot, they have a lot of restrictions on them. So, you know, anytime we go over there, it's a blessing to them for sure, because they just love seeing people from our parish over there. But, you know, we're still using the van, taking the people out. We take them to Walmart once or twice a week. We take them to, some of them we have to take them to the beauty shop. We take them to get the medicines. We do all this type stuff. But talking about the beauty shop, we have a beauty shop over there. Now, these ladies over there, they don't have to have hair colored and stuff like that. So we're looking for somebody, if y'all know anybody that can do hair, dishwashing, setting, whatever, you know, they make their own money, and, you know, maybe $5 or $10 per person, but the ladies love that. And, you know, we have to send some of these older ladies out, and they have to spend more than they probably should. So if y'all know anybody that has some beautician type things, part-time, whatever they want to do, and they set it up maybe once a week or whatever. So those are some things that we'd like to do. And we had a good meeting with the management company this past month, and they've actually accumulated a pretty good bit of money that we're going to use to do some things out there. One of the things that we're looking at is putting a sprinkler system in, because I don't know if y'all been over there or not, but it's a tremendous amount of flower gardens now, and all those ladies just love to get in the flower beds, just like all you ladies do. So we're looking at putting a sprinkler system in there. We're also maybe looking at a walking track, a concrete walking track where they can walk, because, you know, you get out on the grounds and there's a possibility they can stumble. But if they're on a concrete walking path, that'd be something that we could do. And I failed to mention our board. I'm sorry. I've got 3 lovely ladies on our board: Donnie Two, May, and Maggie Ferguson. Now, to get a board meeting together with just 4 people, and 3 of them being women, is kind of like herding a herd of cats. You know what I'm talking about? So, but we do get together. So, but really and truly, what I'd like to put out today, and I think Donnie and Mayday would be with me on this, is that if anyone would like to serve on the board of All Saints House, we'd certainly like for y'all to look at that, because we need a couple more members, and we meet about every other month. It's not a monthly deal. It's probably about 30, 45 minutes, but it's just so many things that when you see the needs of these people over there, it just makes you real hungry to help. And so if y'all have any, want to volunteer sometime, I still do the hamburger cooking. This year, I know the ladies last week did the dinner for them over there. We've had a church member that actually has, he supplied lunch for them one day, and we just have different things going on. So, you know, those people over there, you know, our church is getting to that stage of life where, you know, you're in your fourth quarter. You know, you just think about these people over there, they're just kind of like us, and we need to help them and serve them because you wouldn't believe the needs that they have. And, if you looked at their financials, when they come there, they have to turn in everything that they do, and some of the financials, I don't know how in the world they live, because they have to have the medication, plus their food, and plus, you know, they have to pay for their utilities. So, anytime that y'all wanna go over there, the place is really beautiful now, they've redone everything, it's really a pretty place. So, I don't have any further business for the All Saints House, so I'm gonna adjourn this meeting. If I could get a second, please.
Mike, you reelect your board?
Well, if we need to, if somebody wants to volunteer, I just soon, or if somebody wants to be elected, we can do that, you know.
Yeah, well, you can elect one, I mean, I think you need to elect.
Well, they're serving for a 3-year period.
Okay.
But do we need to re-elect them? Will you tell me?
No, well, it's been a while since I moved the bylaws, but I think there's a rotating basis on your board.
It is every 3 years, I think they roll off.
Yeah, I know, but somebody has to go on every.
Yeah,
It's a
actually,
stagger.
Donnie's a new one, May, you're new, aren't you? And Maggie is new, so we're all three.
Would they have to, at the annual meeting or something?
Last year,
Okay, so nobody goes off this year?
nobody goes off.
Okay,
Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, we all just been on this since our first year,
okay,
being back on there.
okay.
And we were all elected last year at the annual meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up, because I wasn't sure if we needed to elect somebody. I would have liked to nominate some people, but, you know, I'd love for people to volunteer that they'd like to do this, because this is, I just feel like it's more of a volunteer type situation, and, so if anybody wanted to. But, is there any other business that I need to, Abram, do you know of anything? Well, if not, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting. If I can get a second, please.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Donald. Thank y'all so much.
Certainly in ministry, I myself am excited to be more and more a part of my time here. Call a annual parish meeting back to order, really just to dismiss us, unless I'm missing anything else. I think we're good, okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Okay. Second, all right, second in the back. All in favor? All right. Now I will dismiss us. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Alleluia, alleluia.
Thanks be to God. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Sunday school time, they do carry, and then they have another service, so they're just going strict. And so what they're doing is.
Right, you been doing okay? You got me stuff all the right stuff?
Where is it?